Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, like the previous one, I'll be talking about another job role and the skills required for that job role and what are the career prospects of that job role. So the job role that I'll be talking about in this video is a procurement manager at a leading pharmaceutical company, and the leading pharmaceutical company could be in India, like the Serum Institute of India, or it could be a very well renowned pharmaceutical company in the world like Pfizer and Moderna that manufactured mRNA vaccines during the time of COVID-19 pandemic. So to begin with, first of all, uh, a pharmaceutical company functions very differently from an FMCG company or an e-commerce company because it entails the making, transporting, and manufacturing of life-saving drugs, which can save the life of a person, and it's a billion-dollar industry. So then so now to begin with, let's discuss the technology behind the mRNA vaccines. You know that traditional vaccines, they are made by an inactivated virus which is multiplied in a bioreactor, and then it is injected into your body, and your body's immune responses that it generates, the white blood cells generate an immune response against that weakened virus. How are mRNA vaccines different from those traditional vaccines is that mRNA vaccines use mRNA, which is produced inside our body. If we look at biology, there is a central dogma of molecular biology that takes place inside every one of our cells. From DNA, the DNA is replicated into mRNA through an enzyme which is known as the RNA polymerase, and then that mRNA moves out of the nucleus of the cell, and it attaches to the ribosome where the mRNA is converted into the protein. So this is the technical aspect of it, and we don't need to go into the technical aspect of it as much, but we should know it as an operations manager or as a procurement manager in the mRNA supply chain or the supply chain of a leading pharmaceutical company. So this is what these modern mRNA vaccines are based on, and it is a high stakes game for a pharmaceutical company like Serum Institute of India, and it entails a lot of specialized protocols and good manufacturing practices and good suppliers, and also it requires ultra cold chain logistics because mRNA is a highly unstable molecule and it needs to be preserved in temperatures and transported in temperatures as low as minus 80 degrees Celsius. As I discussed earlier, that the supply chain requires ultra cold temperatures because otherwise, even a 2 degree Celsius deviation would render the product useless. And it would, we are essentially building a global bridge which is made up of ice. So, what are the job roles and responsibilities that are required in this field? I would like to discuss that. First of all, is as a procurement manager, your first job responsibilities is strategic sourcing. We don't just find a vendor, we audit them for good manufacturing practices. That is very important. And the second chain is supply chain resilience. We have lived through uh, and we no longer rely on single source suppliers. We diversify across geographies to ensure that a lockdown in one country doesn't stop production in ours. So these are some of the job roles and responsibilities. What is the essential skill set that we require for working as a procurement manager in a leading pharmaceutical company? First, you need to have scientific literacy. You need to know the technical terms, but you need to understand certain technicalities like lipid nanoparticles are needed to transfer that mRNA into the cell, and you need to be data and tech savvy because we are moving towards real world visibility where managers are using AI driven analytics to predict bottlenecks before they happen. And as I said earlier, it is a high stakes games because it involves the lives of people, and mRNA is a very unstable molecule. And also, one critical skill that you require here is negotiation with integrity. We have to negotiate with the best partners, with our vendors for long term strategy. And whenever a new variant emerges, because this is the vaccine supply chain, the supply chain must pivot in weeks, if not months. And this requires decisiveness under pressure. So now I'll be talking about the career prospect as a procurement manager in the pharmaceutical industry. So the pharmaceutical logistics industry is expected to grow into a $186 billion industry by the end of 2032 with a compound annual growth rate of 18%. With a compound annual growth rate of 18%. And it is an interesting field if you are interested in medicine and the ultra cold chain supply chain logistics. And you could get into health consulting in companies like McKinsey or BCG, or into private equity. And also you need to understand the technical ecosystem and the sustainability and ESG issues in the pharmaceutical companies, because they are under a pressure to reduce the plastic waste and carbon footprint of the supply chain. And many top companies like global pharma giants like Pfizer and Moderna, they move their top operations talents to hubs like Singapore, to Ireland and Switzerland, where the pharma headquarters are located. And if you look at the tech and retail industry, pharma is something that will never go away, even if there is a recession, because people will always need life-saving medicines. So there is no scope of an economic recession in the pharma industry. So this is all about it. I would like to thank you all for watching this video. Do like, share, subscribe to my channel for more such content. Thank you for watching, and thank you for giving me your time. Thank you so much. Bye.